Let's go. I'm excited. Yo, you guys, this is going to be a lot of fun. We have Racer X Garage and Mr. My friends have YouTube channels, so I don't need one, even though my car is really cool. Keith Fenstad in the back right now. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk all things Sick Week and some stuff Rocky Mountain, and then obviously Rocky Mountain Race Week or Race Week 2.0. I guess Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, or as it's officially called, Race Week. We're going to talk that because all three of us were on 2021 2.0 last year. So, anyways, lots of updates coming tomorrow morning in the daily dose of Drag and Drive number 11. That starts at 7:40 in the morning because I have so much going on. 7:40 Central. There's about 20 minutes worth of updates there. Tons of lists that are going to drop tomorrow night, and that's actually what we're going to talk about right as we open this. Is the 8th Mile 2021 list, which Keith is second on. So here we go. I'm going to bring those guys in, let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get started. Fellas, what is up?
What's going on?
Oh, man. I'm excited about this one. I know a while ago I was kind of like, I'm coming up. I'm ready. This will help right here just a little bit. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves and just kind of some ground rules for everybody that's watching, probably the easiest way to do this is for Keith to answer, and then we'll go to Ryan, just so it kind of has an easy flow. And everything is backwards for when you put your hand on the screen. So when I point at you like this, it's really not. It's like that way. So, all right. So Keith, why don't you introduce yourself? Just a real quick recap of the car because we're going to dig in later, and then where they can find you on social media and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not so much on social media. It's kind of we were laughing at before. It's like it's best to have a friend with a YouTube channel than to spend all the time to do one yourself. But yeah, I'm Keith. I live down here in Cypress, Texas, which is just outside of Houston, and 78 Ford Fairmont. I've had it since 2014. It's been pretty much the same way since I've had it. I've just gone through the whole drivetrain and whatnot. It had just a small block Ford, stock block sort of thing. It's always been blow through. It's always been turbo. And I've just kind of brought it to where it is today, but it had really good bones to start with from the very beginning since I've had it. So just having a ball with it. I did, Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 last year, did Sick Week this year. And actually Sick Week was my 6th drag and drive event. I've done drag week three years prior to doing the race weeks starting in 2020.
Nice. Dude, I didn't even know that. And so that's what I'm going back through with all of the stuff with Billy Gebhardt's info is, I've never even looked at all of the Hot Rod Drag Week ever at all. So it's going to be interesting to see all the stats that come out of that stuff. It's Brandon Parker says it's a freaking unit. It is, man, and it's so clean. I've actually let me pull it up here and show everybody that doesn't know how cool the car looks. I mean, look at that thing. Like, it's just the coloring is so right. Just so right. Anyways,
we gotta credit Ryan's wife for taking that picture, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's I've never had it painted. I mean, it's painted the way it's just the way I got it. It's gotten a few dings over the years, of course, but that's because I'm having fun with it. It's not a trailer queen or garage queen, that's for sure. I'm out beating on it.
That car gets more attention than my Nova does. It's insane, the people that flock to that car.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just because it's, for guys my age, I just turned 41. And so like that car, and notchback Mustangs and all that kind of stuff, like it's all that boxy top. We love all that stuff. So
yeah. Actually going back, the history of this car, ties back to a number of drag weekers. In fact, John Dodson and Jason Dozier, their best friend, Brian Shearer, is who owned this car. And John and Jason both have a lot of time and hours and blood, sweat, and tears. This was back in the late 2000s. There's and they did a bunch of street racing in this. And so there was one owner in between me and Brian who had it for about a year and did a few things. And that's who I ended up buying it from. But there's still a Power Tour sticker from 2005 that they did still on the front of the car. And it was also, it was also in a magazine, like a fast, Mustangs and Fast Fords in turbo blow through setup back in the late 2000s. And so it's kind of the first of its kind. I call it kind of the OG turbo Fairmont. Because so many people, saw it back then. And so it's got a big following, and I'm just glad to keep the ball rolling with it.
How cool, man! That's awesome. It's a super neat car, and anybody that gets close to it, take a closer look. Don't just walk by that thing, and don't assume it's a turbo LS, which I'm sure. How many times do you pop the hood and somebody goes, "What? Oh my God! What's blow through and a small block Ford?"
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
The purists love it. I mean, I don't care one way or another. I just like to go fast, but the purists for this car, or any car with small block Ford, and carburetor, it's a high five.
That's right. Brandon Parker says that was me at sick week. Talking about walking by. I do want to talk about DK Roth here. Midwest Drags or Rocky Mountain Race Week in June. Can't do both. I don't know, man. That's a hard decision. This will be the first year I'll do Midwest Drags, and then hopefully I can do 1.0 next year. Have you guys ever done? Have either of y'all done 1.0?
I'm a carburetor guy. I'm afraid to go up there in the high altitude.
Afraid to go to elevation. Hey, so I guess that makes the decision. Go to Midwest Drags. You can hang out with me. Both of those events are great, depending on however you want to do it. All right, Ryan, you wanna walk everybody through your stuff?
Sure. Ryan, I got a little YouTube channel called Racer X Garage. I started it when I started building my high school truck that has been through hell. It's been flooded. It's been body lifted and off-roaded. It's been blown up. It was my first engine swap when I was 17 years old. And, I don't know, 20 years ago now, I was at a track. I had a friend adjust the bowls on the carburetor, and they didn't do a good job, and it caught on fire. And then not only did it catch on fire, I started putting it back together, improving some things. I was a young dumb kid learning how to work on a car, and got everything back together. It was at my friend's shop, and he asked to park it outside overnight because I was getting it in the morning, and it got smashed by a drunk driver. So it's
damn. I thought you were going to say by a tree.
Oh, no. It wasn't even running yet. So from there, it had a bent frame rail on the front. It didn't hurt anything else. But long story short, it sat dormant for 15 years, and I decided to start the YouTube channel when I started building this truck. So the entire truck builds on there. It's a 92 Dodge Dakota. It was originally a 4-cylinder, 5-speed. Now it's got a somewhat stock 5.3 Terminator X cam converter, turbo 400, and Mopar purists hate it, and they all tell you to go buy an S10. But I love my truck, and it's a lot faster now than it ever was with anything Mopar in it before. So,
and it's less expensive to do it with an LS than it is with a Mopar.
And sure. I'm a budget guy. I can't. Yeah. I don't. This is. I've always kind of wanted to do a video on this, and I will. But the aftermarket for small block Mopars, especially Magnums and stuff like that, it's gone. It really is, and stuff is so expensive now. You can, for example, M1 intake that they don't make anymore. That's just a basic fuel injection intake replacement. $700.
That's stupid. You can buy an LS for $700.
You can buy two.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, so it's kind of funny, but it's running pretty good. I'm gonna go testing Friday, but I'm trying to get right on the doors of the my personal goal of getting it into 1199 as is, with basically just exhaust, cam, and converter. So.
That's cool, man.
It's been fun.
What's that truck weigh? Do you have you? I guess you
34 with me in it, so it's not as bad as you would think it would be. But
I mean, dude,
heavier than Fairmont.
Wow, I wouldn't have figured that. I figured the Fairmont would be a little heavier than that.
Yeah,
because that's a complete interior and all that kind of stuff. Full bodied car. But the Dakota, I mean, Yeah, and the Dakota's like it's not as small as an S10.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure because the frame's on it's paper thin, so I'm not really sure where the weight comes from. And I've got a lot of stuff not in it. I don't have air conditioning and stuff like that. So
Yep.
it was a lot heavier on 2.0 last year because I had that camper shell on it. I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
57 with that camper shell on it. So
Yeah. You say you're a budget guy, but you sit in front of I don't know how much is on the wall behind you there.
Oh.
Hey, spend your money in the right ways, man.
no, but actually that stuff on the wall, that stuff's not too expensive back there. But
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, you guys want to start with some sick week stuff and kind of tell some stories from sick week and go through that, and then we can work into obviously some race week, and I'm sure you guys are going back again this year. I've been watching my email, hoping that we get it while we're on the
Oh
live stream.
yeah, the veteran, yeah.
Yep. So I have your times pulled up. I know you're probably like, oh my God, here we go. But the stats is what's it's where my brain's at right now. And Keith, you ran quarter mile on, well, I guess there was no 8th mile class down there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like, dude, your average GT for the week's 8:55. That's insane.
8:55, and that was in the 235 Outlaw 235 class. And so, I'd run the Rowdy Radial at race week, back in September, but that's 8th mile, and I had no idea what the car was going to do in the quarter mile. I can tell you now, it's strung out. It's done. It's done at 850s at 160 on these little tires. But yeah, it was, it worked out okay. And, we just kind of plugged at it. We got really lucky the first day, ran an 850 with a 6 and then kind of struggled at Gainesville and that. But, we were kind of in the mid 850s most of the week, and that good first day kind of helped on the second day. We ran like a 55, I think, or that was our best on the last day. And so I knew we were at least in third place. And so, coming in second was actually kind of a surprise to us by our math. We were going to be in third. But when they called Doug, who was in El Toro, he was fighting, and he was either going to go first or he didn't care where he was after first place. Yeah. But nonetheless, it was a great week. We really didn't have any issues. I wanted to make more passes on the last day, but some weird carburetor issues came up, and I came back and the thing was idling really high and weird, and we had a pretty decent time, and so at that point I was just done. I come to find out all it was the secondary throttle screw had just kind of worked its way up, and so the secondaries weren't closing all the way. I had the intake off. I had I was thinking all these other things. But at that point, your brain's a little scattered.
Man, people don't get it, dude. I'm telling you, like we kept fighting this, what we thought was spark issue, and nope, it was a clogged fuel filter. But your brain cannot comprehend.
Yeah, that happened to Chuck and I on race week too. One night in Tulsa, that was after a long day watching Ryan fix his truck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Into Tulsa late, and it came back, and I thought, I heard the car was making some noise, and it was and we were struggling, and we hadn't made a pass, and just before they closed the lanes, we did kind of like a Hail Mary and in like a 542 or something like that.
Yeah, great pass.
That was you just get in your head, you start hearing things and you get in your head, and that you just kind of after a while just got to trust your gut and go with it.
Yeah, Chuck, I don't know if I'd call it paranoia. I would call it like just you hear something, you're like, okay, typically that would mean this, but I'll guarantee you it's not that. Whatever you think it is first, it's not that.
We were on the road for 10 hours that day with my repair. So
because you put a fuel pump in then, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to drop the whole fuel cell out. Yeah. I put a fuel pump in, but what the problem was is the rubber feed line from the Ollie kit ruptured. So, but it was on the freeway in Dallas, rush hour
traffic.
Yeah.
Some awesome guy. I can't remember his name, but a younger guy that was one of his first drag and drive events too. He was able to kind of tow me off because it wasn't a safe situation, so I couldn't fix it there.
Yep.
We towed off to this sketchy area that turned into a construction zone, and it was like the perfect place to do it. And dropped the tank, fixed everything, put it all back together about 2 hours, and then we drove another 6 hours to Tulsa. I'll never forget that.
It's crazy. Dallas was the spot where we started having trans issues and like lost overdrive. It's like, okay, here we go. So we drove from just right outside Dallas all the way to Tulsa in third gear, and then next day ended up losing third gear. So yeah. It was fun. It was brutal. That was in a damn Grand Marquis. Like, who the hell would have thought that?
Oh man.
What's up, dudes with wrenches? Okay, so anything on sick week, Brian? I mean, any crazy passes? Anything cool?
The truck went personal best and went 12-12, but it was day 0, so that didn't quite count.
Damn.
But I was in the Sick Bullseye Challenge, and I got second on day 2. What is it? It was the target was a 52, and I went 56 with the 3, 1256 with the 3. And then day 3, I got third place. Target was 24. I went 1230 with the 6.
That's awesome. And I think on the third day of racing, you only got one pass or something like that, right? There was one of those days where you only had one pass.
1 or 2 passes, South Georgia, and I kind of wish I would have ran it out the back door at South Georgia because that air was good and I had a lot of timing out of the truck, and it still went 20 something on my first pass.
Oh
so
man, that's crazy.
That would have been my 11 right there. It was because I think the DA was like -600 that day.
Yep.
Anyway, but I was within. I think I did the math. I was within 0.6 of the bullseye every day.
That's cool, man.
It was. I love the class. I hope it comes back.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I absolutely loved it.
What I would like is if you guys would have had more opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it would be great to have a couple times where you could have 2 passes attempting at it.
Yeah, I think I got 2 passes in every day at least.
Oh, nice.
And I know some people said they didn't, and I'm not a.
What's up, dude?
I'm not a. I'm trying to think. Sorry.
Like, I get it.
No,
You're letting people off to get in lane. I get it.
We got into the lanes as soon as we could, basically, is what I'm getting. But I know some other people had issues, and maybe they didn't hear it. I don't know what it was, but some people said they only got 1 pass in the day, and that wasn't the experience for me in C class, right?
Yeah, we probably could have gotten 2 passes every day. We just, for I think it was Gainesville, we were in the lane for like 2.5 hours, and it was getting late. We were like, "Ooh, man, let's go ahead and hit the road." And so we actually like drove right out of the lane and back to change the car over and went. Do you race on your tires, or do you switch tires at the track?
Yeah, actually I do. Maybe not next year, but the first year I brought spares and I never put them on, so I didn't bring them. This year, I'm just racing a Nino NT 555R or whatever it is. Drag and race on it, and it's kind of a gamble, but it seemed to pay off. Definitely saves in time. And then I had a trailer this year also.
Oh yeah, that saves a ton of time. Keith, do you race on your, or do you
drive? It wasn't until I started running the small tire did I change, and so in the first 3 drag weeks I did, and the Rocky Mountain first race week in 2020, I drove on the tires I raced on. I just started with kind of a fresh set, and it's a lot. It worked out fine. Fine. I mean, you're taking a chance, I guess, at that, but
I mean, it's not going to rain all day.
Right. If you air them up really good, if you put a lot of air in them, that actually helps because it kind of bubbles them out a little bit and it forces the water out.
Nice.
But it wasn't a problem for me to just keep them, and less stuff you got to carry around and deal with, and makes turnover a lot quicker.
Correct.
Yeah, and that in a trailer, you just wheel up, hook that hitch up, and
Heavy.
roll. You know. Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna do next time. The cart may not, just because it looks so goofy on like a 275, and then I've always got to do something different on, like, if I'd have to run like a front runner on the front, and I don't know, it just looks so goofy. It looks so cool with the 31s on it that I'm like, oh, I need to keep that on there. So we may keep switching, but for race stuff, like for the drag and drive we're doing in April up here, my daughter's co-pilot, she's my crew chief.
Cool.
Tom Stark's popping on here, and so she's gonna help. I think we're just gonna run on the radials. So
there you go.
yeah, Tom says changing tires every day sucks. Yeah, but you guys change all kinds of stuff. Those guys change large amounts of things.
Yeah,
full exhaust and coilovers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be too bad on my truck, but my Nova, you'd have to jack the back of the truck up, put on jack stands, then let the axle fall.
That's what we got to do.
Fun.
Yep, that's what. So the truck is a 66. Same thing. Like you've got to get the body up, let the axle drop, and then pull it out. It sucks.
Yeah.
I run race gas, and so I just drive around on the street just with pump gas, and that's probably takes the longest part of the turnover, is draining all that pump gas out. We try to. The last two races were the first time I even had a gas gauge, so we were just trying to figure it out and try to leave less than 5 gallons in there. We were winging it. I finally got a gauge in there, and just a standalone Holly dash with a bunch of inputs and whatnot. But draining all the fuel out was the worst, and then going up, and then draining the carburetor out. I mean, they're like, "What are you doing there?" I was just like, "I got to get that pump gas out of the carburetor so the C16 can get all the way up." And then she's really pretty much ready to roll, because it's got full exhaust on it already, and so we're not taking any of that off. And
I guess I didn't even think about the carburetor and the bowls and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because like if you just switched fuel and drove up there, you're not going to burn all the fuel that's going to be in the lines and in the bowls out by the time you get ready to race. Wow.
Yeah.
I
do appreciate your willingness to stay with carbs.
Yeah. Chuck and Keith have a program though, man. They get there and they just have their assignments and they get it done, and that's the way to do it. Luckily, I don't have that. Right now I just unload and roll, right, and tire pressure. But they've got a program. They got it figured out. I don't know what Keith's going to do when Chuck goes on. Chuck races his LTD.
I know it. But people say, "Oh, you got to go fuel injection and that," but it's part of this car's nature. Yeah, and
it works. I mean, like at the end of the day, it works.
Yeah, that's right. As long as I say at or near sea level, I'm good.
That's right. Tom says we drained fuel for a minute, but then went into a separate fuel tank with race fuel in it.
Yeah.
But again, you run into the situation where you're at. You're not able to do that because of the fuel in the bowls and stuff. That's cool, man. So how many have you and Chuck been on then?
So let's see. Well, I've done 6 altogether: 3 drag weeks, 2 Rocky Mountains, or 2 race weeks and sick week. I think Chuck and I have been on 4.
Nice.
So my very first one, I just invited this dude from my church. He had no idea what he was getting himself up. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah. And he made the comment through it. He said, "Man, this is on my bucket. This was something I'm doing, checking something off my bucket list that I didn't know was in my bucket." And so we had a great time there. And that was through that was drag week in Cordova, and I know we went up to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and that started there at Cordova, and Byron was another one. But yeah, Chuck and I, we used to index race together back in the 10 years ago plus, I guess. We did 7.0 and 660 indexes. Oddly enough, my car was another green Fairmont, just like this, a Futura, but it was back half.
You're saying you have a type.
I'm saying these are coming my way, and I'm picking them up. But yeah, that's where kind of Chuck and I first met, was doing index racing stuff. And so So we did that for a number of years. But this drag and drive, I watched Jason and I knew their connection to the car. I met Jason on a power tour in like 2016, I think it was. And then so I was like, I started following him and John on Drag Week. And then Alex Corella, down in Florida, he posted on Yellow Bullet, like he really all of his Drag Week escapades. I'm like, that's it. I got to do it.
Yep.
That was, and that's what got me hooked. And from then on, I haven't missed a year yet. And knock on wood, I've finished every one I started. Interestingly enough, my first 3, the car got faster, but my average got slower. So it started at just 10.0 because the first year was the year of Harvey here in Houston and everything, and I couldn't get my license and that. So I said, well, I'll just go 10.0 index it, and I think I averaged a 10.05 or a 10.06 for the week. And the next year I had my license, so I was averaging like 960s, and then I forget what happened. I had some boost controller issues on the last day and melted a line and turned in an 11. So that screwed my average there.
Yep.
Then the next time Chuck was with me, we were averaging like low 9s that week. And that was with this motor. And we were also nursing a C4 transmission behind, this big powerhouse. And so we made it through the week. We kept it turned down. And then the last day we get back to Virginia and we're like, all right, let's turn it up. We made it back and we made a pass. It's so stupid because we went 60 feet and smoked the transmission and ended up with a 20 for the day, which really screwed our average.
Ruined it. Yeah.
Back up in reverse. The only gear I had was reverse. So I had to back all the way up the track on the final day, back up through the return and staging lanes. And that it was kind of a,
oh my God. I can only imagine. We're going to have to go back and find that live stream if they were doing that then. And just, it'd be like, does he know he's not supposed to come this way?
Yeah. But
that's funny.
No, it's been a total fun. And yeah, Chuck's been a good, he's got a car coming. He's putting together, he's got an LTD wagon with a twin turbo LS in it that he's going to bring, I think, to Drag Week later this year.
Oh, cool. That'll be weird, man. Can you you guys competing and then not being able to wrench on the green car? That'll be strange.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll bring my first guy with me. He probably won't come again. Actually, I think.
Yeah. He. So Jonathan Stonecipher says you're either a forever or never attendee participant. And, that dude's a never again.
Never again.
We're all idiots and just keep coming back. We're like, can we do 2 in a year? Can we do 3 in a year? How many can we do of these?
Yeah.
Well, that's all I do. That's really all that I do too. I don't, with my schedule and that, I don't get to test a lot. I just kind of work on the car and kind of get it ready. And, maybe I'll do some testing. The very first time I ran in an 850 class in that race week, I think I averaged an 858 or something. I had 1 8-second pass going into that race. It was an 870. Wow. And that was my only 8-second pass going in. And
you're so like, okay, 2 more notches on that boost controller, and we're gonna see if we can run an 850 class here. Yeah, that's awesome.
That was good.
That's pretty cool, and I think that's what is so fun for me, at least, because building cars, doing podcasts, YouTubing, family. Daughters are in cheer and gymnastics now, and all that kind of stuff. So, I'll make more passes at 2.0 than I'll make all year long. Our event, I'll maybe make 3 passes total,
Yeah.
And then I'll make 8 or 10 that week. So it's the same, I don't have time to go test. Track is an hour and 20 minutes from here and all that kind of stuff.
That's why these cars are so good because so I can just hop in it and drive. I can go pick up my kids somewhere in it or just go meet Ryan and Chuck or whatever at a show or whatnot. So that's what makes these cars so practical, I think. Is, that's what I didn't like about the race car situation was I had to trailer it everywhere and unload it. And it's just too much work.
Well, I don't know if you guys have ever had boats, but if you have a boat, it's got to be in the water. You can't have it on a trailer because you'll never use it. We had my first wife and I had a boat, and it was docked, and I hated paying that bill every year, but it was so nice to be able to leave work at 5 o'clock and drive out there and get on the boat and be in the water in 12 seconds.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's nice. All right, so let's. I just want to call out Jeremy here. He says, "You mean how many can we afford?" We were talking about how many drag and drives we can do. Those guys have done a bunch, and it's awesome. I love seeing the. I think it's a Pontiac, 29 Pontiac. I think a couple people called it a Model A. Cool car, and they've got a ton of really cool stuff. Him and I have been messaging back and forth. I think he's doing Midwest drags, and so I'm trying to get to know some of those racers, that I've never talked to, that I didn't meet on Sick Week and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Ryan, so what's the plan for the Dakota? What's the upgrades for are you doing race week or drag week?
So I'm gonna do drag week this year, based off of those guys there.
Oh yeah.
And my buddy Matt, he's also he's been wanting to do it for the same thing as me. He's been wanting to do drag and drive for years and years and years.
Yeah.
He's finally going to be able to do it. So for the Dakota, I'm hoping to get the trans refreshed or get an 80E in it. I think that's a realistic goal to get done before September. I want to put 150 shot on it, but if I do, I'll need a cage and everything else, and that's to come. But I'm just not going to try to force that all in before September. So
yeah. What's funny is, September, dude, that's 5 months, 6 months from now. You're like, no, man, that's like 6 weeks from now. Really,
I got a lot of other projects that I'm trying to get rid of, and possibly a shop and some stuff like that in the works.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be busy.
I've been watching the Ram Charger.
Cool.
Little deal. That seems like a fun rig.
I looked back on some of those videos today because it's kind of cool thing about having a YouTube channel. You can remember what you did, because I looked back on that. I was like, oh yeah, I did put a lot more work into that than I thought I did.
Yep. So, yeah. It's there's a lot of times where I go back and watch my own stuff because I'm like, how did that come off?
Yeah, I've done that too.
How did that part come apart?
Done that too. But
hopefully Billy joins in. At some point, he might be late because he bought Ryan's B split, the yellow
C10, 70 C10. Yep.
That's cool. And he's the one that had the Volvo wagon.
Yeah.
I was looking at the list. Yeah. I was looking at the list. It looks like Volvos are maybe the fastest grouping of cars except for Mustangs.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's a cool fact.
I think the slowest. Yeah, I think the slowest Volvo at Sick Week was like a 10.5 or something like that.
Well, I know I'm sure the Swedes helped that average a lot.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting. In all these stats, I'm needling a bunch of people lately because they're so close. There's so many people that are like 00 away from the person in front of them. I'm like, oh man. How's that going to work? Like, are you going to wait? Are you going to see if they show up at Midwest Drags or Rocky Mountain, and then do they pass you and then you go after them at Drag Week? I don't know. It's the hardest part for me is like all these, we'll have, except for Midwest Drags, come Saturday afternoon, everything will be sold out. You've got to submit to Midwest Drags. They kind of do they only open 10 spots every week, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, so it's a big process, which is kind of cool because they're looking for guys that are like 10-second cars. They don't want anything slow, all that kind of stuff, which is neat. And then, but everything else is sold out and done. So,
yeah.
I think Billy's Volvo is faster than you'll find because he ran like a 960 in that thing. But couldn't turn it in. 920 couldn't turn it in.
Yeah.
Oh, 40. Okay, I knew it. Yeah, he turned it up on that last day and got his personal best in that thing, but couldn't turn it in for the legit number.
That car is so cool. I'm hoping he gets to join, but he's kind of been wrestling with HP tuners for a while on that car and figuring it out. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to sign up with you guys for Sick Week, just like we also always like, we got to take this. We got to do this.
Yeah.
Sick Week. We got to make this happen. And he signed up, and he signed up with the car completely torn apart and de-wired. I'm talking like inside everything, because he had bought a Dominator, and I got to give him credit. He got that Dominator in there started figuring out. First day, I think he ran 12, and then the last pass he ran 9:30 on that thing. And
God, that's crazy. I thought that car was just like I thought it was like a cam, LS or whatever.
no, I think I have it in one of my videos. It's an aluminum 5.3 built bottom end, good heads, BTR intake. 80 millimeter turbo, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He built the 4L80 himself. Him and Michael Kaiser built that car, and it's super impressive.
Yeah, it's cool looking. I'll give him that. I love it. I love the bit of patina it's got with it and stuff like that. Stan Nelson,
everything. Yep.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Stan Nelson's asking what class you guys will run.
Keith, you first.
Well, yeah, if drag week, it'll be the probably street race small block power adder, just the 850 index. That's kind of suits me best, and I'll have the 275s on it.
I'll be running. Yeah, I'll probably run. I'm going to try to run the street race class only to be able to run a little bit earlier, because my truck's not going to run 1050s, and I know that's where the breakout for Street Machine Eliminator is going to be. So I'm kind of looking at Hot Rod Drag Week just to kind of get the experience of Hot Rod Drag Week. Yep. It's the original event that I always want to do. I won't be that competitive, but if I'm not that competitive, that means I got more time to video and show anybody else who's more competitive. So I'm kind of
let's be honest. That's what a lot of us YouTubers are doing anyways. We're trying to see who we can cover, and carrying the camera around lets you talk to cool people. Driving a fast car allows you to talk to cool people because everybody fast wants to talk to everybody fast.
Yeah.
Our stuff is slow. My stuff is slow. So, to answer Stan, for 2.0, if I take the cart, we'll be in unlimited. But as of right now, the plan is to take our 70 MG midget, and I don't know what class we'll be in with it. It's full tube chassis car. I really don't know how that fits into all the rules. Or maybe an unlimited in that one too, and be nowhere near. But that car with the new updates should make 500, and it weighs 2,100 pounds. So
oh wow, that should be cool.
Yeah, it ought to be a lot of fun. 4-link, and I think we can fit a 26-inch tall tire, maybe.
Oh, nice.
26 tire, yeah. So. Yeah, fun stuff. What made you go to the small tire, the super small tire, I guess we'll call it, because 275s are small tire, but what made you go to the really small tire?
Well, I just thought I could be competitive there. And, with all the electronics that these guys that are just printing 850 time slips, Aaron and Randall and those and that, I just thought, well, I'll just try something different. And so the car surprisingly really likes these small tires.
Nice.
And I really didn't change anything with the suspension, but I only run a 308 gear in the thing. So the smaller tires really helped. And so on the 8th mile stuff, it really likes it. And so I just thought I'd give it a try, and it liked it. And, I could squeak in an 850 in the quarter stuff, but just this past weekend, I went to Texas Motorplex and ran the Texas Radio Roundup, which they had a True Street class. And it was, I don't think there were maybe 20 some plus cars in there. And it's a cap. It's 8th mile. It's either 530 to 550 would be the cap. And you got to run a 30-mile cruise. And I went up there meeting Scott Brown and Jason Dozier. So there were a couple of sick weekers and drag and drive people there. Jason and I were still on 235s, where everybody's on a 275 or bigger. We just left the small tires on, and guess who 2 cars were in the finals? Me and Jason.
That's right.
On the small tires. But that race got so far behind, and that we raced in the finals at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday night, Sunday morning, after getting there at like 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. And so I had a 3-hour drive home. I left at 5:30 Sunday morning. It was crazy. I runnered up. Jason, the cut was a 548. I ran a 550, and Jason ran like a 552, but he had me by 300ths on the reaction time. So he got there first. But it was super fun, and it was good to hang out with Scott. I hadn't really spent much time with Scott and just a super good guy. And of course, racing against Jason is intense. So that was a long day. But the 235s, the car cut a 128 60 foot. It's all time best there this weekend on the on the little tire, and so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. What rear suspension are you factory arms and stuff? Or are you aftermarket arms?
No, well, it's aftermarket arms. Lower control arms are all just in the stock locations. They're a little bit lower on the housing, and then I have a Team Z relocated upper kit. But yeah, it's still factory springs in the factory locations.
Do you have a Nerf football stuck in that one? Is that
no? But I do have red airbags in each of the springs, just for the trailer weight.
Yep.
So we just disconnect the lines when we make a pass. But that's been essential to keep us from bottoming out with all the shit we're carrying.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Because I don't know, it's so cool seeing race cars pull trailers. That's for sure. But I can't imagine the abuse that puts on the suspension that's not made for that,
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, no, it's it's pretty straightforward. But I can put a 275 like an R or a ET, Street SS, but a Radial Pro won't fit. I mean, it's tight in this car. But anyway, it's it just works with the little tires.
And that's not, and it looks so cool. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody, 275s look cool, but like 235s, a little bit of stretch on the rim. It's like, that's where it's at. Yeah, I'm a fan. Ryan, on your truck, is there like a Caltrack bar or something like that you've got in it? I can't remember.
Liquid $100 traction bars.
Oh, there you go. The stubby ones that push on the axle.
It's a little sloppy. I forgot we did this. But when I was doing the axle, we spaced the back of the traction bar out with lug nuts when we were 18.
Nice.
That's actually my next where I'm spending money next. I'm going to go ahead and do some Caltrack bars.
Oh, cool.
And the Calvert Racing dual split monos, and try to put, because right now if I load it up too much on the converter, it'll just blow the tires off. So but it went one.
Welcome to Leaf Spring Racing. I guess.
It went 164 60 foot for that truck.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I was super happy with it. So
yeah, and you said you've got a 400 in it, right?
Yeah, it's got a 400 in it. Yeah,
that's cool. What size? Like, what are you leaving at? I'm like needling y'all with these questions.
No, that's fine.
We've never talked about this, so I'm.
So I've got the budget Jegs XHD converter in it.
Oh, cool.
It's been fantastic. I think it's a 36 to 3800. I can't, because I'm foot braking it. I can't load it up more than 2200, but it'll flash, as soon as I go. So anything over that, it doesn't take it. So that's where I'm thinking I need to spend some money next. But my friend gave me a set of 26 850 drag radials from this green Fairmont that he doesn't need anymore. So we're going out testing Friday to see what happens with those.
That's going to be your key to the 11s right there. Those small tires.
I'm hoping so, because I'm going to go testing Friday, and then the following weekend there's this big like truck shootout Houston Raceway down here, and there's a 12 class. So
nice.
I'm gonna go check it out and see what happens.
Yeah, you'll be too fast for it. What gear's in it?
Stock 355 gear.
Oh yeah, dude, it'll love that tire. Stan Nelson's asking how heavy is the typical trailer for drag and drive events. I'll tell you, ours, we just kept putting shit on it. Like, I don't know how much we had on ours. It was pretty heavy though, because you're standing there with a 4-way, and you're like, well, it's not really that heavy. I'll put it on the trailer. Somebody may need it. Oh, this little toolbox? It's only 40 pounds. Throw it on the trailer. It's fine.
I think that's a good question though, because like Keith's trailer's named as Stubby, so that's what we refer to. If we say Stubby here, but he carries a pretty decent amount, and that's a pretty heavier trailer. And since I have a truck, I don't quite need as much of a trailer, right? I can still use the bed. I've got a little motorcycle trailer, and I think
awesome too.
I think it can carry like 300 pounds. So I want to say that's a very widely ranged question.
Yeah, I think next time I'll weigh ours next time. Steven has a little kind of like a clamshell trailer, and so we're gonna. I don't know what it weighed for 2.0 last year, but I would think inside content's probably 300 or 400 pounds, and then you've got whatever the trailer weighs. Ryan Hargett says that his was 1,900 pounds.
Ooh, that's a heavy trailer.
That's a beefcake, man.
He had to have an extra transmission in there or something.
Yeah. A couple of them people carry all that fun stuff. That's a good way to segue into what spare parts do you guys bring with you?
I bring, I brought the same starter and the same fuel pump and the same input shaft for all 6 of these drag and drive events.
Keep bringing them.
And I'm afraid to take in, and I haven't touched them, thank God.
Keep bringing them.
I'm just keep bringing the same stuff, but yeah, just kind of basic things and some tools, but knock on wood, like extra nylon line, for the boost control or whatnot. Need that, but yeah, I got an input shaft and starter and fuel pump, but that's another thing with running gas in a carburetor. I'm not driving around on 40 psi plus of fuel pressure. I'm 7 pounds. I've had the same MagnaFuel fuel pump on there for every event. So that pump's been, going for over 6 years now. So, thankfully I've been pretty lucky, and not had too much, had too much need. The thing I use the most on my trailer is the hood rack I built for it. So it's just a 4x4 Harbor Freight, and I just built a hood rack with some fasteners on there, and just on the hot days, it's a 20-degree difference in engine temperature running without the hood, and so it just fastens on there, and I just go to town.
That's cool, and it looks awesome without the hood.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Race car, pull a trailer, no hood, blower hat on the carb. Yeah, looks real cool.
Mac TV guys, I think with the no doors, I think they took it to a new level. I really like the no doors.
Yeah. I'm a fan of that. That was a cool setup.
Yeah, it was.
What do we need to talk about now? Let's talk about some race week stories. I mean, because we've had some fun times on that too. Ponca City, Oklahoma. I'm coming for your number if we're going back through there this week. This year. I'm not even stopping in that town because we were there for 20 hours.
So, no.
That's where all the struggle started.
Yeah.
Or ended, I guess. I don't know. However you want to say it.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah. It was fun. Man, what's crazy though is like braking stuff is almost a rite of passage. You have to do it, so it's fine. And if we had left earlier, I would have limped it in second gear all the way to Oklahoma City. But we were leaving at 5:00 in the afternoon, and I was not going to try and limp that thing to 10 o'clock at night to get in there and not even be able to make a pass or anything. So we went home, sadly.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I've got redemption 2 years in a row. I've not finished. The first year was for a good reason. I wasn't in contention because we're in unlimited, obviously. And then, so we're never going to be close in that class. And Jonathan Stonecipher broke. And so I drove from almost Great Bend back to Tulsa to get his truck and trailer and back to him to rescue them from the side of the road. So I was like, okay. And then we go back the next year and I'm like, yeah, here we go. It's on. And then if Tom Stark's still in here, I blamed the transmission issues on Blaine because I was like, man, I'm going to spray. It has a turbo on it, 3 or 4 pounds of boost, really, probably 7, really. And then we put the bottle on it because I wanted to get a 13, And so I was like, I'll just spray, and this huge long line runs all the way out to the front of the car. And I was like, Blaine, what do I need to do to get a 13,999? He's like, oh, you got to spray out of the hole and down the track. I'm like, perfect. I got a 35 shot in it. He goes, you got to go straight to 100. So that's what we did. And then it should have been
35 shot. Yeah, that doesn't count.
He's like, I agree with Blaine. Just do it. Do it right.
Yeah. I think what killed it was, somebody was like, you just pepper the button out of the hole. Well, the problem is that the solenoid is right by the button, right in the car. Well, it's like spraying 12 feet further from me, So I think I didn't pepper it either. I just laid that baby down as soon as I left the line and laid it and tried to pull before it shifted to second. So I didn't want to spray through the shift. And I don't think I got it there. So
How do you administer the nitrous? I mean, it's not a jet or anything. Isn't it just the hose in front of the turbo inlet?
yeah. It just sprays into the turbo.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's the wrong way, but it was the way we were doing it. The plan was for like Ennis would have been a great night for that if we'd had more time, because you can kind of ease that line out a little bit and purge it, and it just throws this like pro mod looking nitrous spray out. It looks super cool, but we didn't get that pass, so
no,
we didn't get that time.
You know what I liked about race week was it seemed like every time you got to a stoplight in a small town, they are rolling down their windows.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Where's it at? When's it at?
Yeah.
And
Every gas station, you're talking to folks.
and they're like, we're gonna be there tonight. I remember not only being victorious and fixing my broke down truck from Dallas to Tulsa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember not only feeling like great that we got that fixed and got that done, but when we pulled in there, it was 6 o'clock, so we were already kind of feeling kind of rushed. But that place was packed, and there was a line down the road full of spectators, and we were able to go around them and get in. But once we all calmed down, we made our first passes, but poor Keith was chasing down something that may not have existed. Sit back, and it was just like crazy to see that many people there, and that was the coolest thing about, I guess, maybe just that area of the Midwest is just they're all about coming out, and it was super neat.
The crowds at Sick Week were good, but I keep thinking like if we did this at night, it'd be so much nicer, But it would be
cold.
Yeah, if you broke. That's the other thing at Sick Week. If you broke, you had all day to fix it instead of breaking at 11 o'clock at night and having to wait till the next morning.
Yeah,
fix it. Yeah.
Part of the joy for me is going to these tracks that I would never otherwise go to.
Yeah,
and you really get to enjoy them on a race week. Racing at night because you're not in a hurry to leave.
Yeah.
And so when with drag week, and I know it's a different vibe. I call drag weeks more like a rock concert, and race weeks more like a family picnic. But with drag week, when you're done, you want to get out of there. And I look back and I think some of these cool tracks I've been to, Bristol and MIR up in Maryland. I would have liked to have spent more time there, but we made one good pass and we were out. So that's what I really like about the race week and racing at night is just being able to hang out at the track longer, watch racing. You're not in such a big hurry to leave, but you got to get there first. And that's the thing.
And with Sick Week was somewhat of a nice contrast of that because you don't have 6 hour drive.
Yeah.
Right. So
it took us 6 hours to get there.
You can say, you know what, I'm going to get back in line because it's 3.5 hours away to the next stop.
Yep.
And you have that kind of a buffer put in. But I will admit, I did like 2.0 at night better. You get up in the morning. Keith's a 5:30, 6 o'clock guy. So, you have to get used to that. That takes minutes.
Hey, that's hard. That's hard on us YouTubers, man. We're up till 3 trying to get this stupid video to load.
And then and then we were rolling, and it was real nice to get to a couple of places kind of early. Yeah. But I agree with Keith. You're not as in so much of a rush to get out of there. Yep. You can go watch, the big guys run and watch Bailey run and Alex run and everybody else, and you got time. You might even have time to crack a beer,
Maybe. Man, I was so sad. I heard that, we were in Tech like 2 cars behind Stefan Gustafsson, knew they had beer in the trailer, didn't park, didn't get close, didn't wave at those dudes anytime during the week, not once. I was like, man, they've got beer over there, and just never made it. I think if some dude is going to drag around 2 kegs, you got to at least have 1 or 2 of those beers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also a plus with hanging out with Billy and Michael and the Volvo. They're never without beer. So
Yeah, plenty of beer.
That's awesome. This is one question that I do have. How do you guys get around? Now, are you bicycle guys? You walk in? Are you kick scooters? You got electric scooters? What do you do?
My feet still hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and really Chuck would be the one to say, I need a scooter or something. He's heel toeing it. And I see all of these, battery or whatever, rechargeable scooters and that seems like the way to go. So
that's very appealing. Very appealing.
So for race week, I had an electric scooter, but I forgot the charger. And so we were at the very back of Mid-America Dragway, right? I'm talking like we're like the last 5 cars at the very end, right? And so I was going up to the front to see if I could use the lift to change the trans fluid in the car, see if we could get overdrive back. And the scooter died at the top of the track. So I was like, should I just leave it here and come up? But I was like, I don't even know if we're going to get to make a pass. So I kick scootered that electric scooter. That is not the way to do it. I'll just do not do that.
Yeah.
If it dies, just leave it.
If it dies,
come back and get it later. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But even just a regular kick scooter would, an adult size. I mean, I'm 6'5", so I need, a little one. I'm going to be a little top heavy.
Yeah, that's what we had. So Justin Chestnut, the Model A that I rode with, his wife ordered a whole bunch. So we had like 4 adult kick scooters. Man, you could tell the days that I used it and the days that I didn't on my step counter. It was like 15 or 16,000 steps to 7 or 8. It was definitely the way to go.
And I was, because I'd have to, I'd want to make sure I get Keith's passes and stuff for Billy's passes. So I'd make my pass, get done, and I'd run back over there, hang out with them, run back and forth. Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to need a different mode of transportation. Although it's good to walk. It's good to walk.
We had discussed doing. I'm going to build a bike rack for the cart because I mountain bike, and so I thought, man, I'll just wheel up and I'll just buy like a $5. I'll drive past a flea market and see a bicycle outside, and I'll just go buy a $5 bicycle and throw it on the side and just pedal all week. But we didn't do that with sick week because we didn't have a way to carry the bikes. So but that'll definitely happen. Hot Rod Dave says a mini bike is in his future with a cup holder.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
A little 5-horse pull start. Cruise
there you
around.
go. Yeah, but
all right. So you talked about an 80 for an upgrade for the Dakota.
Yeah.
Are there any upgrades coming for the green car, Keith?
I do have an air shifter on order, so I've been hand shifting that thing. So if consistency is the name of the game here, I got to take my variable out of it. So
nice.
It's like an 8-week back order for a nice precision air shifter. So that's coming, but really that's about it.
Nice. Chuck is saying, talk about Kirkies and seat cushions. What's the story there?
Well, the first time Chuck rode with me, I just have Kirky seats and there isn't much padding in there. That was the year my dad followed along. He went and just kind of followed us and got to experience everything that was drag week. But Chuck was, after the first day, like his tailbone was literally about to pull out, and it was just like, I'm riding with your dad. I'm done. I can't do this. I'm checking out. But my dad had this bamboo seat cushion. And that literally saved Chuck's drag week. And I've had it. I have like 3 of them now, 2 of them now, just as backups. So Chuck's, that's his first thing is don't forget my seat cushion.
That's cool, man.
On my side, I'm pretty good. I have some old neoprene life jackets that I tore apart and used that kind of hard neoprene foam. It just worked, kind of fit perfectly in the seat. But other than that, we're just same old, Kirkies, but Chuck's got to have a soft cushion.
That was probably the biggest breakdown we had for sick week is when you spilled the cooler around the
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We we went out on I did a photo package with Chris Story.
Yep.
And by the way, that was well worth, I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did. And I may do more of that, because to get those nice pictures, it's well worth it. But
Yep.
we went from Orlando. We went and did a little where we did some rolling shots and all of that. Well, we were done, and we were turning around, and I kind of really stopped too short because I was trying to make this turnaround. So I was hard on the brakes. The ice chest that was in the back dumped forward, and it had nothing but water in it. And it just filled up the floorboards full of water. Well, that's where my ignition box is and my relays for the trans brake and everything. So we yanked the seat out in Orlando. We got back and we tried to soak it up. And the more I felt, the more I, saw more water that was sloshing around. So yeah, we took the seat out and
pulled the Kirky out,
pulled the carpet up and got the air dryer on there and kept it. But that was self-inflicted.
That's awesome. Yeah, I rode in. I think Jonathan Stonecipher has Kirkies in his car and no padding or anything, and so he carries moving blankets, and that's what he was sitting on in it. And the back part would just keep sliding down. So like every few minutes he'd lean forward, and you'd have to reach over and pull the towel up and let him sit back on it. Yeah. So I think he's got that fixed now, but. Yeah, I think he's bringing that car back out for 2.0, so I may have to spend some time in it if I do end up riding with my brother. Trailer burnouts.
Trailer burnouts save lives.
They're the best. I mean,
seriously,
they're the best.
I talk about a story. Thanks, Chuck. It's if you look
should Chuck just jump on?
He should have. I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
I asked him, and he said he was just going to troll the comments. But yeah, I can send him the link.
Yeah,
send him the link.
But to go off of that, I had the Dakota aligned before we went at a shop up the road, and it was day 2, and we were over there kind of on by NASA, by Kennedy Space Center, and we kind of went too far. We missed our turn, so we wound up turning around. And it was a great place for trailer burnouts. So Chuck encouraged doing some trailer burnouts. And it's on my day 2 video. You can go see it on my YouTube channel. When I did a trailer burnout, you can watch the front wheel come in.
Oh man.
They didn't tighten, and the truck started pulling really bad, and I didn't until we got into the ice cream shop. We didn't know what happened. And it was really freaking me out. They didn't tighten the upper A-arm control bolts, upper control arm bolts. And literally, I kind of feel I'm going to make a little reel about it, but it could have been worse. If that had happened on the track, I could have went in the wall or something.
Oh, yeah.
So trailer burnouts save lives. So once we found that out, we did a alignment the next day. Where was that? That was Gainesville. And they just I don't know why they let them all loose. It was crazy. So
they were too enamored by the hot rod of that truck.
I guess so.
It's the tailgate. So tell us the story of the tailgate. Because if folks didn't see the picture earlier, like the truck is primer gray, tailgate is multicolored. Yeah,
so it kind of goes back to, again, I've had this truck since I was 17 years old. I'm 40 now. And it's just the truck. My dad was a musician, and he was great at that, but he wasn't good at working on cars. And neither was my mom. So I kind of just learned this stuff through other friends' parents or just kind of on my own. So I painted my truck by myself, Krylon and all this other stuff. And in one of those things when I painted it, spray rattle can, I decided to put white racing stripes on it because that's what back when the blue and white Vipers came out. And, I was like, I'm going to do that. So I wound up putting racing stripes on it, and that was when it had a little 318 in it, and a 727. And anyway, I wound up primering it all later on down the road, and I've actually been kind of fixing all that as we go, getting it ready for a wrap. And when I was wet sanding to get it flat so I could reprimer it, I saw my old racing stripes in the blue that was there.
That's
And
cool.
it just looked so cool. It reminded us of just those days, right? Those carefree days. And I just didn't have the nerve in me to cover it over and reprime it, even though it would look better. But it's just super neat to kind of have that nostalgia there. Eventually, I'll get another tailgate and probably hang it in my office or something back there or whatever. But it was just really cool to see all that lying underneath it. So we left it like.
That's awesome. I'll tell you this. So I'm bringing Chuck on.
Yay! There he is.
Chuck, you must have been carrying the comments, man. Nobody's making comments anymore. We appreciate that for sure. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now that I'm on, I don't have anything to say.
Well, hey, that's all right. That's the way it works.
Stage fright.
So Keith's been talking mad trash about you for the whole time we've been on here, talking about you're one of the best co-pilots he's ever had, all that kind of stuff. So with the comments, I figured, man, it may be easier to have you guys in here and back and forth because I think it'll be fun. There's not a whole lot of people that we get on here that are co-pilots, but if you've been on forum with him, has he been your only pilot you've been on a drag week with or a drag and drive event?
Yeah, he's been the only one. And I've been signed up for 2 other drag weeks myself. The first one had a family emergency, had to drop out at the last minute, and then we had COVID happened, so we didn't go on that.
Dang,
but car should be ready to go for
my hot rod stuff. Yeah. So he said that you're hoping to get your car together for drag week this year.
Yep, it's up and running. We're just slowly turning the boost up. It's just a pump gas, twin turbo, 6-liter. Don't have a roll bar in it yet. I just really can't bring myself to put a roll bar in it yet because it's more of a cruiser.
Yeah.
I have my daughters that ride in the back seat a lot, and I don't know, the thing's heavy enough already, and
you start adding like rows of roll cage. That's where things can get real interesting. I need door bars for each door, please.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I definitely have to put in removable side doors, side door bars for the front, and then it's 4-door, so the hoop can't completely block off the back seat, and then you still have the harness bar.
Yeah.
And I don't want my girls smashing their face out on that if we ever get in a little fender bender.
Well, I was gonna say the thing about the harness bar, you can't lean back ghetto and cruise your wagon if you've got a harness bar there in the way.
Exactly. The thing's got cruise control, stereo, AC.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it ran 1106 on 6 pounds. So I think once we turn it up to 14, 15 pounds, it'll be right on the cusp of 9s.
Yeah, that's awesome. And get you kicked right out.
Can I share? Let's see here.
Yeah, it should be on the bottom of the screen. It says should share, and then you'll open a window.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's pretty neat. What trans and stuff is in that car?
It's a 4L80.
Nice.
With a Circle D converter.
Yeah.
And
that'll make for a fun all-around car. You know what I mean? Like long, rolly burnouts, ice cream, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it'll do burnouts for days. And we had 373s in it. I just put 331s back in it because it was already out of gear in the quarter mile. And we're just on 26-inch drag radios there. Those are the Mickey Thompson SS tires there.
Nice. That's a cool car, man. I dig it big time.
It's so plain on the outside. It's same thing with that car. We go up to a gas station and people are like, they're either like, what is this? Or my dad had one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
and you just don't see them anymore. And don't get thumbs up driving on the road.
Oh, did I mess it up there, Keith?
No, I just went to the next one, and
Gotcha.
and it was a video.
Gotcha.
Chuck drives that thing like a bat out of hell. I can tell you that.
The thing is quiet. It has full exhaust out to the tailpipes. The wastegates are plumbed back into the exhaust. It's like an electric car going down the track.
You just surprised the crap out of somebody. Here comes Chuck cruising up, eating his vanilla ice cream cone. Hi, yeah. Oh, he honk it off, man. Honk it off. It's fine. Go ahead. That's cool. Just leaves it. That's cool.
There was a video. What was that video, Chuck, of somebody like a couple in a Challenger? They're like, oh, look at that old man in that station wagon. He's trying to race, and then you just like smoked him.
Yeah. Down in Mexico, we were driving on the interstate, and that was back when it was NA.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you listen to the video, you could hear it barely touch the rev limiter, like it's $7,000. And this is just the old truck motor.
Yeah.
And the old lifters and the old lifter trays. And then the next week we were out at Baytown, and one of the cups rolled out of the lifters, and we caught it, pushed it on a trailer, but
so, and then after that it was on. You're like, well,
as long as we had the heads off
on it.
we had the heads off, and then somebody had some 243s laying around, and then as long as we're going to put those on, we might as well take them over to Hooper's Heads and have them CNC ported. And
while I'm in here, that's the kiss of death. While I'm in here, and then it's 2.5 years before you're driving it again. But it goes from 500 to 1,000 wheel, and now it's way more fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that'll be interesting. You guys running around on an event like all three of y'all. That'll be cool, man.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna roadkill it up to Memphis. I'm not even gonna trailer it.
Yeah. I mean, that car's street enough. It's there.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's been all the way up to Wisconsin before.
Oh wow!
Loaded up the girls, went up to the Wisconsin Dells 2 years ago.
How cool!
Keith was flirting with driving the Fairmont with the trailer to Dallas. Did you do that, or did you trailer it?
No, I trailered it. Thank God, because man, after being up there for 26 hours, and then to think I'm driving that thing home. Billy just messaged me if we're still ready.
Dude.
Go.
Yeah,
okay.
I got time. I've got to pull a turbo off the old truck before the night's over and start on the rebuild on it, but I'm not going to work very long on it. My kids being out of town has really screwed with my sleep schedule. I'm now waking up 2 or 3 times a night. Like, why isn't anybody making any noise in this house?
For 26 hours of racing, Keith, to that point, it takes a special kind of person to, 1, do sick week, and 2, be your co-pilot. and 3, to that last comment, Dara has a heart of gold, Ryan's wife. When we first got on sick week, and they're like, Ryan's wife is coming. I'm like, oh, this would be interesting. But man, she was just the best
That's awesome.
co-pilot,
Yeah.
It's got to be a gamble. There's so many times where you'll see that guy post, hey, this is my first one, thinking about bringing my girlfriend or my wife, and I'm always like, no, do not subject her to this, please.
I cringe when I see those posts. I cringe when I see those posts. It's like, is there any time to go like off and do some sightseeing on here and do some vacations and see some sights? Like, there's no way.
I think the key component for my wife is I went into her and I told her, I was like, gas station food, fast food, no cool stops. You're going to be in a loud, noisy truck the whole time. I took her on a 1.5-hour cruise to Buc-ee's and back, in the heat, in the 101 degree weather. So she knew what she was up for. And, and I kind of explained, we're going to be on somebody else's schedule. We're not going to be, it's not going to be, we're going to sleep in and just go on without us kind of thing. And she did great. She managed my social media, so I didn't have to think about any of that. she helped get extra video of Keith if I was in the lanes or whatever else. So
Yep.
I don't think it's for everybody. My buddy Matt's bringing his wife, but she's very like-minded with Dara. So yeah, I agree. I cringe because it's definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, my wife would kill me, and she says no. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, good. Stay your ass at home. And she's fine.
There you go.
We intended to get signed up with my wagon for sick week, but we missed the cutoff, and my wife was going to be my co-pilot. And the first thing I said after I got back from sick week with Keith is, I am so glad you didn't come. You would have been miserable.
Where'd he go? What the heck, Billy?
He'll be back. He'll be back. I think he's figuring it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's man. It does take a special couple. I mean, really, like you're locked in the same car for 6-8 hours a day, and then the stress starts. Either if you're racing in the morning or you're racing in the afternoon, doesn't matter. It's still stressful. You're still trying to get the car turned over and ready and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, and my wife's a nurse too, so she's taking care of Keith and Chuck and
Band-Aids and
water. Hey, you need to get some sunscreen on. Hey, you need to,
Yep.
I have to admit it was a benefit. It was a benefit.
Oh yeah, hey, and listen, Wendy Martin is that for us at any of our events that we're around her. She's like, hey, me especially, because I sunburn so easily. She's like, you need sunscreen, or hey, you've cut yourself again.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's it's definitely an interesting time as we move into all the stats and start posting every day and all that kind of stuff. It really is showing how many people really are involved in this. And I think one of the coolest things is when we're all there, nobody, a lot of times when you get to work, it's, there's classes of people, in the real world. There you're not, it's like everybody is a car person. Everybody is doing their thing. Everybody wants to go as fast as they can, and they want everybody else to go as fast as they can. They want to beat them at their own game, beat them at their best, I guess is the best way to say that.
Devin Vanderhoof, I know he didn't get to go on sick week, but he made a video after day 0 and they blew the motor up.
Yeah.
And he said he was pretty floored by that, because he was like, we're here to compete. Nobody's my friend. And they were all like, everybody's friend.
Yeah. You're like, you're in the wrong crowd, friend.
Yeah. I thought the way he described that, I thought was perfect. I really did.
Yeah, he he was going to try and do Carolina Drag Cruise, but some other race event came up. And then, so I think he's back on the list for, or he's maybe on the list for Drag Week, and then definitely on for Sick Week again, 2023. Okay. So,
yeah, we haven't seen the last of him. He just got the taste.
No,
we have not seen the last of him.
That car is bad to the bone.
Oh man,
man.
Yeah, we were down by the boards when he came by. As it let go, we were like, "Ooh, that's a lot of smoke. That's not good." So I was hoping it was.
But I met him for the first time while we were checking in, and I was just like, "Dude, I watch all your videos." We couldn't be further apart with my carbureted, blow through shit, and and he's all fuel injected. But I said, you just make me want to do my stuff nicer.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just kind of a motivator to not throw a bunch of junk together to see, what the end result is. So no, super cool, dude.
Yeah, we were waiting. I was waiting in line at the porta potty for him during registration, and I looked at it and I said, "Man, you made me rewire my truck." And he said, awesome. You wouldn't believe how many people tell me that, and I was like, I believe it, because you pointed out stuff that I didn't think about, and I was like, I better go change this,
Well, and the one thing about it, like I'm a get it together, do burnouts, then like have fun with it while you're fixing that stuff,
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be built right the first time. It's just got to be running, And so then we go back and then we fix a wiring harness, and then we fix the way fuel lines route so they don't keep burning holes in them, and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's another part of the reason the truck has been down so long. So I'm trying to go through some of that, the routing of the oil feed and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, it makes sense when you have the time, take the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to be able to do burnouts. That's the big. You got to enjoy it, man. There's so many times where somebody's car is down for 3 or 4 years because they, oh man, while while the turbo's off, I'm gonna buy this other turbo. Oh, now it's a bigger turbo. Now I got to buy bigger injectors. Oh, if I got bigger injectors, I got to buy a fuel pump. End up down
Yeah, I
the
lost a
rabbit hole.
motor in this in November of 2020. I dropped a valve. We were out testing, and this was after race week in
Yeah,
2020.
it was after race week.
We did a track day, and so I was out there making some fast. So I'll make one more. I'm just wanting to see what kind of, and sure, top end at $7,000, lost a valve in the exhaust valve and just destroyed everything. But thankfully the block cleaned up and that, so got it all back together in time for race week 21.
Yeah. What block is in that car?
Boss 302, just Boss block.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guess what haven't we talked about?
Well, not registration, but tech.
Yes.
Checking in.
Yeah.
You know, I know Keith and Ryan, we got through sick week tech pretty quick. But
Lucky
Billy
bastards.
and Michael were late, and
they were in that line for a while.
Yeah. 6.5 hours. How long we spent?
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
We were,
and that's what
we ended up bringing them food and drink, and you don't think about that, but you have to have you got to have your supplies in your car, whether they're snacks or waters, and that even goes on for the following days when you might be in the staging lanes for 2 or 3 hours.
Yep.
You better bring some water with you.
Yeah. Definitely.
Or have somebody that can bring you some.
Yeah, that was probably the craziest day ever. I mean, we like pull into the lane or pull into tech line, and we're like, oh, it's no big deal. It's moving, as we go. And then I thought we had to have the race tires on, so I was like, well, let's go back to our pit and change tires. And also we get back to the pit, guys like, oh no, you're fine on those as long as they're on the trailer. Blah blah blah. So we go back. We're like 20 cars behind, and it did not move as fast as it was before.
Yeah, it was pretty insane because I remember seeing. We're pretty early group, right? We try to get there as early as we can. I think it's Keith's habit, but I think it's been our benefit. So I'm glad he's in that bus. We got there kind of early. It probably took us in 45 minutes, an hour and a half to get through tech. I don't remember exactly.
Oh,
but I remember
awesome.
Bailey's car around the track on the other side of us.
We were behind him.
Oh man,
where we were, but it was kind of cool because, as my whole intention with sick week was to talk to as many people as I could.
Yeah.
And so with everybody standing around staring at each other, it was like, hey, tell a story about your car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Talk into this camera right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did meet a lot of people in tech, and it was really cool. Met that guy with the fast Camaro, Steven. I guess he's from New York.
Oh, Willingham.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
What a name! That car is bad. That thing.
Dude, tens, and he's building a Malibu to come out. I mean, here's what's cool about that guy. That guy put 14,000 miles last year on his car doing drag and drive events.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
So Robert Williams did more drag and drives, but did it in 2 different cars. Steve finished 4 drag and drive events, major drag and drive events in the same car. It's pretty neat, all that kind of little goofy stuff that the stats are starting to show.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So it's pretty cool. And then Robert, I think, is the only person to have completed like 6 drag and drive events in a row ever, or something like that.
Wow.
Like to where they're consecutive,
What
so it's pretty neat stuff.
What about Randy Seward?
Well, so let me rephrase that. From 20 on, because that's what I was really starting. Because before that, you really only had Rocky Mountain, and you had Midwest Drags in 19. So you really had 3 events in 19, and then everything before that was pretty much Rocky Mountain and Drag Week. Yeah. So if you have 2 events a year,
Randy, there was an article. There's out there about Randy. He did a lot of events. I think he did like NMCA, then he did some drag and drive stuff. But the thing was, he drove that Mustang everywhere. He never trailered it.
Nice. What's his name?
And then he would
Randy
even
Seward?
do. I know when we did drag week with him, he did the sealed hood thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that thing right there is a unit. I'm surprised we haven't seen him back out at. I don't think I've seen him since Hot Rod Drag Week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like Dragzine did an article on him in 2012 about 4,000 miles in an 8-second Mustang.
Yeah.
I'll read that, dude. Thanks, man. That's cool. It's wild the amount of people that have. So we've been going through Billy Gephardt's stats that he kept every year from 2005 on for Drag Week, and I'm like, I'll tell you, I would have never put all of that stuff together. So them gifting us with that is a huge win. But it's really cool to go back through all that stuff and see. He did like all-time quickest ETs, all-time fastest mile per hour, all kinds of stuff. What's up, dude?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Hey,
Good.
hey, Lee.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. I couldn't hear anything on my phone.
Oh,
So, got my tuning laptop out in the shop and decided to hop on there.
There you go.
there you go. You've got the fastest computer in here.
Yeah.
Surely the 10-year-old Asus, I hope, is the fastest one.
With the serial port.
Right?
Yeah, the serial port. You got to hold the power cord too in a certain way for it to actually charge. So if I randomly drop off of here, you know what happened.
Yeah. So here's what's funny. How many tuning laptops are exactly like that? Like they just take a beating all the time. But you have to like hold the screen on. Hold on, wait a minute.
Yep. It's a trust thing you build with them coming in, and you don't want to trust anything else, so you just hang on to it as long as humanly possible.
That's right. It takes time to build trust.
Don't even worry about the updates. Don't do any of the Windows stuff. Just keep it
Just
working.
don't even connect it to the internet if you don't have to. Just keep it away. It's a standalone unit.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. That's right. That's pretty cool. Well, we were talking about the Volvo a little bit earlier, and how fast the Volvos are as a group in Sick Week. So why don't you kind of tell people the setup of the Volvo, and then I'll start pulling up all the Volvo cars from Sick Week and the numbers.
Definitely. So it's a 1984 Volvo 240 wagon. It's an aluminum Gen 4 5.3 with a BorgWarner S475 turbo on a E85 with a 4L8 built 4L80 behind it and a Ford 8.8 rear end. So it kind of started as just this junkyard LS, get it running, get it going, go have some fun with it, and kind of, well, okay, let's put a cage in it. Let's do this safe. I really want to do drag week one year. And now it's kind of gotten a little bit out of hand from what it was supposed to be back in when we bought it.
Right. So looking here, there were 4 Volvos complete Sick Week, right?
Yes.
Yours is the third fastest with like a 10, almost 10.8, right?
Yeah.
But the slowest Volvo is at 780 2-door, which is a super cool car. I don't know if you guys saw it, and it ran at 10.8, almost 10.85. So that's pretty neat, man.
That's what's his face's old Volvo. He used to be in our group. Barron's.
Oh yeah, Aruda.
Mataruda.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That
he
car's
sold that
gone much faster than that.
Your car's a lot faster than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was yours, Billy?
Yeah, I couldn't turn in the time slips I wanted to for the past 2 days at the end of Sick Week. So, but hopefully next year I'll be able to get my license and turn in some good times.
That's cool. What's the so they were saying 930s, 940s out of the car? I mean,
the fastest it went last day of Sick Week. It went 950.
50.
wow.
And
That's cool.
I still had a lot of room to play with it, but I wanted to at least click off at 950. That was the fastest I did in that car. I was happy with that.
You don't want to get kicked. You don't want to get kicked out. You got to at least be able to turn in a slip.
Yeah, exactly. And I set my fastest, and I put it on the trailer at the end of the week. So, I mean, you can't complain too much about that.
I do remember the threat of leaving the rods on the ground, but we're glad that didn't happen.
There was the thought of leaving the rods on the ground, but then it's like I hadn't driven. The car's been down for a year and a half, I went ahead and I swapped from the HP tuners and the stock LS computer over to a Holly Dominator in it. And so the car had been sitting for a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, I could leave the rods on the ground, or I can actually drive it and enjoy it for a few weeks before I try and do that.
Right. So you just went right for the gusto, man. You know, usually it's the factory ECU to Terminator X, then to Dominator. You're like, nope, we're going for it.
Sometimes when you invest in these cars,
Yeah.
I get tired of buying, you know, I've kind of buy one thing, cry about it the first time, but know that it's going to take you for the rest of your kind of car's life to not have to worry about it and not have to buy it the second time over again. But also I went ahead and I kind of made myself a spreadsheet of everything I wanted input output wise to monitor. Drive shaft speed, converter pressure, converter temp, you know, all that sort of stuff that you kind of, in a drag week car, kind of want to go a little overkill on data so you can accurately figure out what's happening with the car if you have a problem. And they didn't have that CAN module, the Terminator CAN module, when I bought everything. So hindsight, I probably could have gotten away with a Terminator and a CAN module, but oh well.
Now you got a Dominator.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
I'm jealous. Mine works, but if I wouldn't mind a Dominator.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. And I've got 3 Terminators here at various install stages, and it's a nice setup.
Yeah.
Where can people see the build of that car, like on social media?
I have an Instagram for it, the_Trovo on Instagram, and then I've got my Instagram page, BSM_Z28, that I've been posting. I need to start getting into doing a lot more social, but this is kind of
that's how we live vicariously through you, man. Come on.
I know.
I have plans to go over and hang out with Billy and help him video working on some projects and stuff.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Chuck too, and Keith.
Yeah, like Keith said, have friends with the YouTube channel.
There you go.
Yeah. It's just like a boat.
It helps me with content, so I'm good with it. And their cars are super cool. So
dude, I totally appreciate it, and especially like that first one where that was your first race week, and you recording that, and I just happened to be in some of the videos and that. So no, I'm glad to give you tires for that. That's worth it.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
And the cool thing about it, again, for me, like I don't remember anything. I am cramming too much stuff in all the time. Documentation of stuff. Like you talked about with the parts earlier. If I record taking it apart, I can go back and watch putting it together. But then also I can look at 10 years down the road. I can look and see what we were doing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And if somebody's like, "Oh, well, what's it really like on it?" Well, here we got a kind of documentary of our past week.
Here's 8 hours of a drag and drive event chopped down. Watch these videos. If you can make it through every minute of these videos, you can live. You'll make it.
We're going to have a quiz on everything after you watch it all. So
there you go.
Yeah. Hendrick says need to do some more Dutchman projects, Ryan.
So that Dutchman built is a Billy's shop. Billy owns the shop. So nice. I need to go. Yeah, he's right. I need to go over there more often when we can. Now that everything's kind of back to normal, I guess you could say we can do that more often.
Yep. Yeah, we've got Dutchman Motors is our shop that we kind of work out of, and kind of started to build. We've got the Volvo, and then we've got a C5 that we have affectionately called Rat-Tail, which is serving as my table for tonight.
Nice.
Autocross LS Fest, and we got an invite for King of the Mountain for UMI in September. We're competing with this car with.
That's cool.
And Hendrick's the one that pilots it, so.
Yeah, Hendrick's a little better about going around corners. I like kind of the A to B and trying to make it to the next track the next day.
Yeah. While catching a buzz every day.
If time allows. If time allows.
Yeah, I was complaining earlier about not drinking enough beer during sick week, and they're like, "Oh man, you should have hung out with Billy and them. They had plenty of beer."
Yeah, we have plenty of. Hey, we have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're catching a buzz. Are we going?
You're
to
not
South
drinking, it's
Room
your own
now?
fault.
Yes.
Yeah, it was mine 100%.
The best time, I think, Keith, you were there, was when we were in Drag Week, and was it Lutz or who was it that came in the middle of the night, and we're like, this man needs a beer.
Oh, that was Bailey. It was Tom Bailey. He had
It
just
was Tom Daly. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He got out of the car, and I'm like, hey, dude, here's a beer. You look like you need one. And he comes up, he goes, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is going to taste delicious in the shower that I haven't had in 3 days. I'll talk to you later.
It was a Yingling too.
Yeah, it was a Yingling bottle, and he.
I think Michael gave him one. Cool beer stories, actually. I got a couple. One, when we were at the sick week award ceremony, we kind of got tired of getting up and getting down. And Michael, did you go too, Billy? Did both of y'all go?
Yes, we both went. Were you talking about the box?
The 10. The 10. First, they went and got 10 beers, but and gave one to because Bailey was standing in the line, so they were like,
"Here you go."
Yeah, here you go. Thank you.
But we got there. We kind of loaded up the Dakota, and then I realized we're running late, so we ran over to the Freedom Factory, and we got in the stands or whatever. And me and Greg we didn't know where everybody was at that point in time, and me and Greg are sitting there, and Mike Finnegan walks up around the corner, and he's got a case of beer.
Yeah.
And he looks at these two guys in front of us, and he's like, "Y'all want a beer?" And they're kind of looking at him like he's not for real. So we're like, "We want a beer," and he's like, "All right." So he gives us a beer and a couple other guys, and I said, "Mike, you're my hero, man. But this is on another level. This is really puts you up there." And he looks at me and goes, "It's because you're thirsty."
Oh my god, that dude's the coolest, man.
Oh yeah, we kept the beer cans, sentimental. It's all good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Super glue them to the bed floor of the truck.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's pretty neat, man.
When we used to do the drag weeks that were out out east, we'd always bootleg all the Yingling back to Houston because you couldn't get it in Texas. Until last year.
Yep.
Yeah, they finally broke down and said, "Let's go. Let's sell it to these boys. We're tired of running semis, smoking the bandit style."
Yeah,
it probably didn't affect their sales, although it probably affected the convenience store that's right there in Louisiana.
Right on the border.
That's it. You walked in and it was like 36 packs.
No, okay.
Waist high.
Wow.
That's cool. So what haven't we talked about? I know I've asked that earlier, but Billy wasn't on then.
Maybe about Keith not testing quarter mile on those 235s before he ran at sick week.
It worked out.
I mean, listen, it's just RPM. You can always let out, right?
He's like, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sitting there doing the math. I'm like, I don't know if we got 10% converter slip. We might just make it.
We brought a set of 275s just in case. So we had a set of tires. If after the first day, make a couple test passes and see where we're at, we could make a change if we needed to. But yeah, it worked out good.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
Good. I like the tree format too. Just kept it faster.
Yeah.
And you don't think about how much that slows it down, but if somebody's sitting up there, if 8 cars in a row sit up there for 10 seconds or 8 seconds, I mean that adds up to a long time at the end of the day. And we needed that. I mean, hell, we were getting one pass a day because we didn't want to wait in the line for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And Dave says sounds like a cannonball beer run.
It was basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime you went to Louisiana, you made like 3 phone calls. Hey, do you want some?
I'm gonna be over that way.
Yeah. Hey, either that or we I was working oil and gas in the service industry, the best thing you can do from coming back from a job site is, bring the guys that are stuck in the office being office jockeys, bring them some Yingling back.
That's cool.
Very good to go on that.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, let's run another like 5 or 6 minutes here, and then let me get to tearing this turbo apart, because I've never rebuilt a turbo. Any of you guys rebuilt a turbo?
Keith
Think
has.
about that.
I did. Yeah. I took mine apart and that if you got a good pair of like ring pliers, you'll be fine. It's actually a lot simpler in there than you think.
Good. I need it to be simple. I got to get it back together by this weekend. A guy's coming to retune it and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, the hardest part is there's some rings there, the sealing rings along the shaft. Just getting those centered, as you're putting it back into the cartridge. But it's doable. You'll see it as you come apart, and there's always YouTube if you get stuck.
yeah, and I mean it's a VS Racing 78, 75. I'm sure somebody's torn those apart a bunch.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
The thing I would also say though is mark the bolt, the shaft, and the impeller there, just so you line it all back up the exact same way to maintain the balance.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's
okay.
a good point, Keith.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known to do that. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, it'd went back together. It'd have lived as long as it lived, unbalanced for sure.
Which, if it was really off, wouldn't be long at 100,000 RPM or whatever they
Right.
spin.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd be like, well, okay, let's go get another $300 short block. Let's go. That's cool. Well,
Gotta love the 5.3 LS.
man, so I bought this setup's 210,000 mile. It come out of a 05 Tahoe that had been rolled over and laid upside down for 2 days. When we started it, I didn't think to clean the intake out. So I had the intake off and it drained oil out of it. So at least all of it wasn't in there, but it was wild. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this thing is like fixing to come apart. And then it cleared up and was fine. So
Nice. Yeah,
we've been beating on it for 2,500, 3,000 miles.
Yeah, we found one. We went to the pick apart looking for a pair of valve covers, and brought tools to kind of get the valve covers off, and maybe a couple things. Found a Trailblazer with the V8, so that's an aluminum 5.3, and we're basically like, well, we're going home with this. So walk in for a set of valve covers, and you end up with this 5.3 that was perfect shape. So getting ready to go in a buddy's 4th gen Camaro with a set of turbos on it, and here we go.
Chuck, I brought my Ram Charger out to the swap meet last week. Chuck's already there. He's like, you got to come take a look at this. Next thing you know, I'm buying an aluminum 5.3 LC9 for $375. Intake the oil pan. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah. Well,
That's
we
the way
missed
it
out
works,
on an
man.
aluminum 6.0. When you're looking for that stuff, you gotta be committed. You gotta have the cash ready. You gotta decide that that's what you want.
Absolutely.
They end up they end up in the wildest places. I've heard of the scrap guys having them in the bed of their trucks and not knowing what they are. And they stopped by a shop a couple weeks ago, and the guy was wise enough to know what was in the bed of that truck. And hey, I'll give you $60 for that.
No
They're
problem.
No problem. Out of the back of the scrap truck, and I think it's going in his Fairlane.
Right.
That's cool. Yeah, that's we've ended up, and the funny part is, as you take stuff apart and you do LS swaps, we've done a bunch of them in the shop, and so you end up like with heads, or you end up with exhaust manifolds and all that kind of stuff as people swap them, and so we start looking at turbo kits, and we had a buddy had stored his engine here. I threw it on an engine stand and completely built my turbo kit while the truck was running, driving NA, just on the stand, because we had an extra motor laying there and all the extra parts. So
that works out.
No, it was great, and it fit right in. I was surprised. I was like, "Oh my God, this turbo kit fits!" I didn't have to cut the frame out or anything. It was great. So it's been you can definitely beat on LS stuff. So all right, y'all. why don't y'all say, well, like we'll go around here, everybody kind of tell everybody where you can find you on social media again, and then I'll put you guys down in the back and I'll close it out.
Well, I'll start.
Yep.
You know, you can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Racer X Garage. Ryan, my buddy over here, you know, that's my social media outlet there.
There you
So Racer X Garage is where you'll find me. Maybe one day I'll get motivated enough to make some videos and edit them, but for now I'm just going to ride on Ryan's back for a while.
There you go.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to partake in all of that, but
Yeah,
you
I
can
just-
check
I
out
wanna-
Racer. Yeah,
I want to be able to tell my grandkids, see, this is Pepal right here. Sorry,
but
Ryan,
you
go
can you can check all the race week and sick week videos out on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/racerxgarage or racerxgarage.com, and Facebook and Instagram is all I do for social media, and that's the Racer X Garage.
Cool. Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, just besides Facebook, I'm Chuck Wagon 1986 on Instagram. There's some videos, including the Charger video, I guess, is out there.
Talk about the best name ever, Chuck Wagon. Dude, that's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda-
that's cool.
Kind of just does it
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
I
right.
like Volvo too. I like the Volvo. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm Instagram mainly, the_Trollvo, or my Instagram is BSM_Z28. So that's mainly where you can find me.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys don't have to stick around. I will do a little outro here for all the folks that are still watching. The numbers just keep going. Boop, boop, boop. So obviously you guys are the reason everybody was staying around, telling all the cool stories. So I want to say thanks for doing that. And
Hey, Mike, let me just say thanks for what you do. I mean, you know, this
Absolutely.
drag and drive stuff is really catching on, and it's really cool to be a part of it. And it's cool to see, you know, you and folks just kind of, you know, making the most out of it, sharing what people are doing. And so I know it's a lot of hard work. And so just, hey, man, appreciate what you're doing and keep it up.
well, hey, I appreciate you saying that. It's
Thank
a
you
ton
very
of
much,
fun.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a blast. I'm really enjoying the stats side of stuff, and just wait till you guys see what we've got coming. Just wait.
Yeah, see if you can figure out who the fastest carbureted car is, because I think that's the Boomer Award. I think I might win that.
I think
Boomer.
you got that, Keith.
Ooh, you know, I don't know. I don't know what Jesse Havlick run. No, because yeah, hang on. I'll be able to tell you 2 seconds for the 2022 list here. Hang on.
Fastest car with a controlled vacuum leak.
Yeah, fuel
Yeah,
leak.
that's
Fast fuel leak.
exactly right. Well, no, so you're faster than Jesse because Jesse's 867. He's one of the, what about no? Glenn Hunter is NA. Is he carbureted? I don't know, dude. That's a good one. I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, NASCAR's even gotten away from it.
I say it's the Boomer list.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
he don't need a laptop.
If I can make the Dakota run 850, you can call me a boomer all day long.
Yeah, I don't care. And here's the cool thing. There's nothing cooler looking than a hat on a carb on a single plane intake. You know, there's just nothing cooler than that.
Yeah, and it's fun watching people look at Keith's car and figure like, oh, there's an LS with the turbo on it, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's a distributor and a carburetor on here? What the?
Yeah, what is going on?
And just watching their facial expressions when they realize that that's going this fast on a carburetor. And
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's the best.
That's the video we really need. We need like a 9-hour video of your car in the pits at one of these with just the GoPro underneath it as people walk by. They're like, "What?"
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well,
All
thanks
right,
again,
y'all-
Mike.
Yeah, hey, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you,
spending 2
sir.
hours with me. Yep, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna throw y'all backstage. Like I said, you don't have to hang around if you want to. We can talk for another 20 minutes after this, but I got to get to work, so hang on. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. There's some real gems in this thing. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna cut down some fun stuff, and we'll go from there. and drop those as quick cuts. The daily dose again tomorrow morning, 7:40 a.m. Central, and we'll be on with that. Tons of updates, tons of lists dropping tomorrow. So thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week, I guess.